All right, we're back, and it's a brand new best of 3. Looks like herO did defeat Beyond. Feels sad, man. But this means the bottom side of the bracket is all Protoss, and the top side of the bracket is all Terrans. So it is going to be guaranteed PvT Grand Finals at this point. So basically, one of these guys from the bottom bracket is going to win the tournament today. In the bottom right, of course, we have the light blue, the teal Protoss, Deer.
And in the top left, as the red Protoss, he is Roots herO.
Now this is still a round of 8 match, guys, so the winner of this will go on to the semifinals. We got 2 best of 3s and a best of 5 still coming after this series is completed. So a little bit more Olimoleague action as it is officially back from hiatus. Also, we missed quite a few, so just quick shout outs to Diabertha, thank you for the 14-month resub. BitWrench for 39 came back to say glad Olimoleague is back. Hell yeah, dude, me too. Miracles also came back for 34 months to say, oh, cruel fate to be thusly boned. Ask not for whom the bones bone, it bones for thee. Bender.
Okay.
And then last but not least, just an optional player. Thank you for the 32-month return around the sun. Says, I am comprised of a series of ones and zeros. Nachos are delicious with tea. Math has never been more complicated than sugar. Not again. I'm not sure where that quote's from, but I like it.
Yeah, not sure either. So my camera still works, right?
Yes. Why?
Okay.
Did you do something?
Well, the new Skype, right? So I went back to I don't want to see my face, okay? I want to open up Skype, okay? And right now, the entire Skype window is my face if I'm on the call. So I went to different conversation to get rid of it, and it worked. But I was afraid that maybe it broke it.
What's wrong with seeing your face?
It's usually not much. I'm not gonna say I love looking at it, but it's that it's super low quality because it's so blown up.
What's the opposite of a narcissist? Because that's what you would be, I guess.
I'm sure there's a word, but I can't think of one right now.
I'm
sure it's
a narcissist.
I'm sure it's based off some Greek tragedy as well.
All right, well, Deer is push across the map with a couple stalkers. It's a pretty classic thing to do. herO rocking those purifier skins.
Stupid hat wearing purifiers. Rugby caps.
Well, both players did that pylon block, so it's very annoying for both sides, but I don't know, next time it's not going to be really that big of a deal. This is a big mistake from Deer. He's going to lose one of his stalkers if he takes a fight, so he's just got to run. In fact, he still might lose it running, depending on the pathing. But back at home, he's going to clean up that pylon. If he matches up, he should be able to take on herO's stalker, so herO has to make sure he doesn't go too deep with this.
Deer going for a Stargate, herO going for a Robo, but he's also going for proxy pylon. Pylons everywhere from this guy. It's so far away that it could just be for like, well, maybe I'll use it in the future, because he's certainly not adding like a Stargate there, right? It's way too late, but it is a little scary. Basically, if Deer were to like attack in, get, you know, pushed back, kind of try and take a third base turtle at home, that's when herO can counter and have warp-ins without having to wait for a warp prism, even if they're slow warp-ins. Deer also with a proxy pylon. I feel like this is exactly how this game is going to go. Either Deer wins with this, or gets pushed back, and herO counters with that proxy pylon and wins himself. Let's see.
I really love that boils down to he either wins or he loses. I think that's how the game's going to go.
Well, usually not determined by one fight, but this is StarCraft 2. Am I right, guys? Am I right, other pre-word elitists? Okay.
Love that new Immortal skin, by the way. Blasting away at this. Takes out a lot of the stalkers.
No! The Oracle! Definitely should have gone to the main base immediately, but unfortunately showed itself, so stalkers get warped in. And while it could still go for a couple of probes worth of damage, it could have been much worse.
Yeah, the dilly-dallying here costs Deer a little bit. Stalker's still going to provide a little pressure, pick off a pylon, back away. Even with that warp in here, it's not going to be worth it. Now, Adepts might be able to transfer past this and do way more damage than the Oracle could. But right now for Deer, his best bet is harassment. There's no way he's taking an army fight, not without Immortal. Unless it's out of position like this, in which case maybe you just go and run and gun.
This army can't necessarily kill a Nexus that fast, but oh, that would have been perfect if a shield battery was there. They're all still stalkers, not going to transfer through. The army's going to come from behind, and Deer is going to have to either, well, he's going to have to take the fight at this rate, and there's 2 Immortals. I don't think he can take the fight. Gonna try. Oh, the Oracle helps out.
Not much, though. Oh, the back attack from the Stalkers, the Immortal System levels too much, and Deer is absolutely out at this point. No Nexus to speak of, no chance to fight this game. Even if he killed 10 probes, it still wouldn't really be worth it. A lot of lost mining, of course, very annoying, but herO is very much in control of this game. The Nexus says it all.
Yeah. A huge army supply lead. Deer, recognizing his position, just throws in a bunch of shield batteries, and herO is moving across the map. He has that Warp Prism on the way, as well as a Proxy Pylon, even if he didn't want to wait for the Warp Prism, as I said. He was looking for Deer's Pylon, by the way, when he moved out like that. I think he found it, he just didn't kill it. But not going to worry about it.
So I got a nostalgia question for those watching, by the way. Does anyone ever think, like, I always look at the pylons warping in, Protoss buildings warping in, and I always think of Reboot, when they had, like, the portals open to the net, or, like, the tears that they had to seal. Does anyone else ever feel like that? Years I feel like I'm on crazy pills, but maybe I'm not alone.
Warping in units looks more like it than warping in buildings. But I get you.
By the way, 2018, the year of the reboot. I'm super excited for the Guardian Code. I don't know when it comes out, but I'm stoked.
Maybe the same people that made the Barbie movies, and they're pretty good.
You know what? I haven't seen them, so I don't know whether that's a true or not statement.
Actually, the Barbie movies are some of the finer quality bad animation videos you'll find.
Nice!
There you go. So herO is going to win this game, so I'll continue to talk off topic. GG. Have you watched or heard of the documentary, The Toys That Made Us?
I saw it on Netflix. It's on my to-do list, actually. It looked interesting.
Okay. Yeah, some people mentioned it in like a Reddit thread I was reading, so I looked into it, and yeah, it was immediately recommended as soon as I did. It is interesting. It's like a little long. Each episode's like an hour or something, but there's the Star Wars episode, and now I'm on the Barbie episode. The Barbie episode's pretty interesting. There's a He-Man, and then there's also a G.I. Joe. There we go, those 4 episodes.
I am doing something really cringy on stream right now to mask my face. So I'm listening, but I'm not replying. Because I'm trying to sync this up, and I don't... Oh, I can't wait for you to see this. I look awesome. I just can't move is my problem. Yeah, if I move, it totally ruins the effect. Feels bad, man.
It's just all you guys to watch it too.
Yeah, actually, a lot of the... I hate to say it because I feel like an old person, but I've really been getting into things like Blue Planet and like how it's made. Documentaries on things like really interest me now more than some of the other things that come out.
Yeah, I've liked documentaries for a while. Well, I used to watch the History Channel back when it was interesting history. Not now. And that kind of, I feel, is what Netflix is starting to take over with a lot of their specials.
But, okay, History Channel has Vikings, which is like super legit.
But that's not even...
It?
You're right. Vikings is good, but that is still kind of in the category of not history channels, like the documentaries of World War II and the Civil War and stuff.
That's true.
But you're right, that's good. It's on like Ice Road Truckers, which is questionable.
Yo, those are real heroes, everyday heroes that have to brave some of the most dangerous roads.
Look, okay, if there was a documentary about Ice Road Truckers, I would watch that thing. I'm not going to watch a season of episodes that are highly dramatized over and over again. That I'm not going to do. But more power to anyone who does.
By the way, I need you to see how cringy stream is when we get to the intros. See you guys at Catalyst. All right, folks, we're back. It's game number 2 if you're just tuning in, and he's down 1 at the moment, which is a bit surprising because for many years this guy's PvP was his best. In the top left, we've got herO, or excuse me, Deer.
In the bottom right, as the red Protoss, he is herO. Did you mean to see Deer's PvP was his best?
Yes.
Oh, okay, just making sure.
I just messed up the name, so it was being the wrong part of the overlay. But yeah, so herO's really good right now. Like herO for the it's not even herO so hot right now. herO's been hot for like the last year. This guy is so good. But Deer back in the day, man, like this guy was the Protoss he looked up to, right? And his PvP was always fantastic. It didn't feel like he had a good hold on in that game. Like that was just like everyone has their off game, and maybe we'll write it off as such. But that was not a good game for Deer. It
was so close to being one, I think, because of the Oracle. aren't expecting, I think, to win necessarily when they open Robo when you do that type of attack, because as long as they don't let the Immortal just get picked off super easily, then it's pretty doable as a defense. But when the Oracle swoops in and gets 10 probe kills, and then you're warping in at a faster rate than they are, that's when it's like, okay, this is really something that could win. Revealing the Oracle like he did, and the timing, I guess, is to be more specific, because there's a high chance herO is expecting a Stargate. But to know exactly when the Oracle is about to hit, so you don't waste warp-ins in the main that aren't helping the front, that was, I think, the biggest flub. There might have been others, but to me, that was just like, oh, that could have done so much more. I don't know if he's going to be as aggressive again. herO is usually the aggressor.
Yeah, and we missed a donation, so I guess it came in during the intro. Let me just replay this really quick. Also, thank you, Ugo Luvander and Ganther Thor for your resubs. Wow, 43 months on Ganther Thor. The Cake Machine 1 just donated $5 saying, thanks for keeping StarCraft relevant. Base Trade is a fine ambassador for one true game. Dude, thank you for that $5, actually. Means quite a bit, as you know, we've only done a couple of casts here in January, but the ad revenue is like, I'm literally gonna quote like a fifth, maybe even a fourth of what it normally would be. So every dollar helps, every bit counts more than ever. So thank you for the $5, man. It goes a long way.
Oh, it goes.
But yeah, StarCraft's a really good game. It's frustrating, actually. You know, the thing that recently happened with Corsair was a little unfortunate, how they're not interested in StarCraft anymore. That's fine. Teach their own. But I'm finding more and more I don't know, last year it seemed really easy to get new sponsors to try StarCraft, just because we had the numbers to back it up. But now we got bigger numbers than ever, but there's just less interest in StarCraft than ever. 3 sponsors I spoke of over the break / into the New Year's, just, they really like the numbers on the channel, but they're strictly standoffish because of StarCraft. Makes me really sad, man, because I think this is still a good game. You know, the CEO of Splice had a really good quote, that interview with Cyan a while back, right? Like, StarCraft fans, you'd rather have like 1,000 StarCraft passionate fans and like 10,000, I'm misquoting this, but like 10,000 just whatever fans. And that's how I see it too. Like, I really like the passion of the StarCraft audience quite a bit.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to say about that. I mean, I think, you know, you're appealing to an older demographic with usually more money as well, because they're older. They are more passionate, so more likely to support whatever, etc., etc. But I think there is just always going to be a bit of a stigma when any of these, I feel like, guys get promoted, guys or girls, get promoted to these positions where they're like, what is the best esport? What is the best, like, what is looking to be good on the horizon, etc., etc. It's all these really high number esports, you know. And they don't, I think they undervalue what StarCraft can bring. And there's just that stigma, 8-year-old game at this point. That bump up the 7-year-old game to the 8-year-old game.
I mean, like, even talking contracts with people, they're like, hey, so when is Base Trade going to move on to other games? I'm like, it's not yet, at least. Like, still like this, man. Until I get bored watching and casting, like, I've got no drive to move to another game.
Yeah, I want to know if there's any way to like bridge the sponsors between some of the other kind of categories that StarCraft fits, like the lower viewer but higher like response rate, like fighting games. I feel like fighting games get a surprising number. I mean, Red Bull does fighting games, right? It's a cheaper production.
The passion of Smash. I mean, Jesus.
Yeah, the production of LAN-wise console games is cheaper. That's absolutely true. But it's still like, man, I wonder like what they're appealing to get some of these sponsors. While we were talking about sponsor stuff, there was some interesting things happening. Gear opened with a Stargate, but went to a Nexus, not an aggressive forward attack. And his Oracles this game did do, I think, the damage you're kind of looking for. They're still alive, and they've killed 7 probes.
This is also way better just because Deer has the second base. Even if the Oracles failed, at least he's got a fallback. Last game, it was so all in that there was no transitioning out of that. Lose one of the Oracles now is kind of annoying. But herO, you know, what's interesting about the way Chrono Boost works nowadays is you're basically, the damage is somewhat nullified. You know your opponent's going to have chronoed out their own probes, so they'll be at a cap on 2 bases. You'll in turn use your own chronos to catch up, and sure, that might cost you like some +1 timing, but ultimately getting your workers out is far more important. Looks like Oracle came back to the natural to pick off another 2, so still leading by 10. Deer actually has quite a nice economy compared to herO presently, but as I said, this is like a temporary thing. Chrono Boost and production will eventually catch up.
Yeah, one extra Chrono Boost into a probe instead of a forge, maybe you fall behind in the upgrades, but in this case, herO is far ahead on the upgrade.
By the way, because someone in the chat did ask about why ad revenue is so bad in January. Ooh, another $5. Thank you. It has a lot to do with advertisers, guys. Like, the reality is, you do a lot more advertising around holidays, so that's why you hear everyone talk about Christmas and such being such a big deal. But January and February, there's no major holidays. There's no major things to advertise, so advertisers don't put as much money into things. Come April and onwards, when we start reaching into things like mid-year, back to school, all these other things, like, yeah, it's an ebb and flow of I guess, when advertisers want to spend money.
It's the opposite of back to school.
Well, I didn't mean April is back to school. I mean, as you get through the year, you do things like eventually get back to school, which comes after April. So I'm sorry for jumping ahead there.
It was like the exact wrong month, I guess. The order of words there was like.
You know what?
Just
no, you're still
wrong.
Because you're never too old to go back to school whenever you want, Zombie Grub. April, you very much could go back to school. Thank you very much.
You might be right. I think most semesters end in May, though. So April would still kind of be midway, and I don't know if they'd let you join, but could be right.
To be clear, going back to school is not the same thing as attending your first day of class. You could still go back to school for June or July without actually, like, I'm not saying like you arrived on the day of. You could decide in April, I'm going back to school. I'm going back to school for the next semester. Look, shut up. Mustard cucumber, that's a disgusting combination, but an excellent subscriber here to the channel. Thank you very much for that. HKG Chicken Man, dude, I didn't even know you streamed. I just know that you renamed one of my Arcanines. Thank you for that little bit of the host there. And then Dar for the $5 or $5 says more Korean tournament streams. Yay!
Bradley says, as the community is small but loyal and usually only watch StarCraft, we is smart. We is loyal. We is good. We need all the support we can get. Words of encouragement there. That feedback, though, did not kill this nation.
Interesting. Does feedback not do double damage?
I don't know. 99% useless fact, man.
Yeah, that's a Fear Dragon moment if I've ever seen one. Speaking of which, Dark Shrine finishing up. This might just be for cheaper alternatives to Archons because of the gas costs versus mineral costs, but at the same time, herO might be able to sneak in a DT or two and get some damage done. Either way, he's been consistently scouting. Both players actually have been pretty consistent with their scouting.
Yeah, it is coming around that time when the most important thing to note is I would say compositions, making sure that no one's going into something tricky like mass adepts, and then upgrades, keeping tabs on, like, do I have a faster +2 or +3 in this case than my opponent. The herO had a much faster +1, but I think his Chronobus did have to go into other things, catching up on the Twilight Council tech, catching up on the probes that he was lost in the early game. So he's fallen behind, but not very much. And this is going to come down to probably how they take a fight. Deer is ahead on army, but 15 supply, 20 supply, that's a couple bad Archon fights.
Interesting question from chat, by the way. I'm actually gonna ask this on stream too. I'll start, guys. I'm 29 years old. I'm curious how old everyone in chat tuning in right now is. I know we don't have an audience of really, really young kids, but I do know we actually have an audience that has people who watch with their really young kids. So yeah, just type your age in chat. I'm really curious what you guys, where we're sitting here age-wise. We is smart.
I'm gonna guess not too many 19 and younger people, but I do know for a fact we've had people who are like 16 or 15 as big fans.
I suspect we're gonna have a suspicious amount of 69-year-old viewers. Okay, big attack coming down here. We're waiting for this. It's been building up for a long time through passive play. This is something that's a little bit awkward though, because herO might be down a little bit in supply, but ooh, these shield batteries can go a long way. If he takes out those zealots, this will be a really big deal, because that's what he's missing. That's what herO's down when it comes to this fight. Upgrades to favorite deer ever so slightly. This is the better macro game, and this is the stronger looking deer, frankly, I was expecting. But herO's already shaved this off and brought this to a manageable spot, because while those zealots are really good, they also die to the Archons very quickly, and that's exactly what's been going on here. A couple of low health Archons in the front line.
7, 6,
Guardian shields up the best they can.
Yeah, and it is helping. It's something that Deer does not have. Plus, we finally finished for herO, but the majority of the fight already happened. He lost the server. He's getting so much free damage.
Yeah, they just hold position of body block. That's it.
That is it.
That's game. Oh, herO handled himself really well up until that end fight there, man. That was, from someone who was down 10 workers, who was just in a bad spot, like, that was a good game out of herO despite the loss, but herO, yeah, he loses and lets the series tie up now 1-1. Keep in mind, this is not the semifinals. The winner of this will go on to the semifinals to fight against Creator. Top side of the bracket, yo, we had Cure take out Innovation, and Natural defeated Ryung. Oh. But we're not there yet, guys. Quick break while we hop into Game 3. All right, folks, welcome back. We're getting to Game 3, and we have some interesting things to talk about based on the previous discussion from the last game, but get to that in a moment. Spawning here to the top right, we have the light blue teal Protoss Deer.
The bottom left has the red Protoss. It is herO.
So first and foremost, people ask why we didn't show Innovation. Frankly, Innovation just didn't make it, guys. That's how tournament circuits work. We weren't able to cast his matches because he wasn't synced up with the flow of the games, but also just didn't make it. Cure has actually been looking pretty good recently too. Not nearly as impressive as Bunny to me, but you know, Cure's still in the tournament, so we'll see how he does versus Natural after. But yeah, a lot of clusters around people who are like in their early 20s and early 30s, which was kind of interesting. Because the people in their early 30s, I imagine, played StarCraft 8 years ago when they were in their early 20s and fell in love with the game and followed it through there. What I'm really most interested in is for the folks who in chat, you know, the 21, the 22-year-olds, they obviously, or most likely, weren't playing StarCraft when they were 10. They most likely weren't playing StarCraft when they were 14. Like, I'm really curious for you guys, the youngins, I hate using that phrase here, what drew you to the game? I mean, I'm not gonna be able to read every single response and respond to it in real time, but I'm genuinely curious. Was this something you knew the legacy of StarCraft, or you just prefer RTSs as a game type? Like, it's a little bit interesting to see the younger values there be in such high quantity. This is also so brilliant out of herO, by the way. Just to talk on this, guys, he's hitting a pylon out here, not because he's proxying anything, because it's almost impossible to find. But Deer's gonna see this, and he's gonna see one pylon in the base, and this is so many red flags raised. This is so much of like, WTF, what's he doing? I gotta prepare for like this attack. There's a proxy. There's an attack. Like, something's coming.
He's gonna be paranoid. He's gonna see another pylon on the Natural, and then herO hides the probe just for like a little more dramatic effect. But he knows there should be another one. Yeah, but like, how does he overreact? He still goes for a Nexus. He's not like that crazy. Safest opener beyond that would probably just be adding a Robo. The probe sticks around long enough to try and see what comes from the gateways, and it is a depths. Deer is getting a sentry, I guess, ready to force field off in case it's necessary, but he also has a probe ready to build a shield battery just to stop the adepts. Adepts are not scary. They don't take out buildings that quickly. Deer adds on his own Twilight Council, not a Robo.
So it does feel like at this point Deer has not reacted to this pylon the way herO would have wanted. And that's not a bad thing. That's actually a really good thing for Deer. If Deer had super panicked and he delayed his Nexus in favor of like getting scared and defensive, then he plays right into herO's hands. But herO did not tilt him. Like, not even in the slightest.
No, it doesn't look that way. This is something that a lot of Protoss players do, I would say. It's not totally original for herO. They kind of hide the pylon somewhere else, or they put that pylon down in a proxy position for later. And other things can tell you whether or not that's really for like a fast Stargate or a Robo. And I guess whatever it was, Deer feels confident, as said, to go for that Twilight Council instead of a Robo opener. And he's getting a very quick Cluescent Phoenix Scout because he whooped in that sentry so quick.
I'm amazed at how many people actually played, saying in chat, they played Brood War when they were young. The Warcraft, I guess, trending over to StarCraft makes a little bit of sense to me. But
sure, yeah.
I'm just more surprised at how many people are playing, I guess, Brood War when they were young. After it was already kind of a, I don't know, a difficult game for its time.
Well, it was
10 years old.
That was when it was of its time, right? So you had a ton of other games that were difficult in the same fashion. You were fighting more against the controls than you were against the other people. So they're probably, like, it probably wasn't a big deal. Like when you played Brood War when you were young, like you didn't play it usually the multiplayer anyways. and you didn't recognize how hard it was.
I played it for like zone control and like fastest money maps, dude. Like,
I think
none of the regular things applied to me at all.
I remember this stuck with me, I think, more than maybe some others, and I'm going to chalk it up to me being a little bit dull, okay? But, not dull, damn it, I guess is the right word. But I would never blame the game for its difficulty. I would always assume that it was just my fault. So if a game had... No!
Well...
Why? If a game had problems mechanically, like the controls were bad, the level building was bad, I'd just be like, wow, I'm really bad at this game. So I never looked at a game and was like, that's just a terrible game, I'm never gonna play. I'm just gonna be like, oh yeah, okay, I guess I gotta get better at this.
That's like, are you describing Brood War or they are billions?
Anyways, I think a lot of people have that right when they're younger. They play these super bad games because they don't really recognize that it's bad. Not that Brood War is bad, I'm saying, but that was kind of I feel like that was a lot more of the games back then. You just kind of, suck it up, okay, because it's the only thing left at Blockbuster.
Sure, why not? Well, Phoenix just kind of gets a good scout. Not really a lot to see because it missed the army moving out. And hero's held up in his main, though. He's got a lot of sentries. This actually would favor him in a fight, whether it's guarding shields or whether it's just force fields. That awkward pylon from earlier gets revealed, and Blink actually gets used. This allows Hero to jump on the fight, realizing that his opponent's was on cooldown, of course. Trades a Stalker for a Stalker, but ultimately this will go better for Hero, so Deer has to back away.
A little, I mean, poking or prodding is not bad. Yeah, it's easy to retreat. Charge on the way for both players, but Deer's going for a +1. Hero definitely we're going to be behind on that, but he prioritized the third base so much more. Still no forge.
Oh, man. Monty dropping the red alert in chat. That reference, though.
I was going to bring up... go ahead.
I played Command & Conquer. I played Tiberian Sun. I played Red Alert. Like, I played that era of games, but I never really got into it the way I did with StarCraft. Like, those were fun games to play their single player for, and then that was it for me. It was done. Never played the game again. Lost the CD, because, of course it was CDs back then. Like, didn't care for it after that.
I just played it on consoles, which is the least ideal way of playing it. So, but I was going to bring up.
It bothers me that you're the better of the two of us, and that's your origin on consoles.
On console, I had to work harder, Rifkin.
Check your privilege, Rifkin. I had to play on a console. It wasn't a choice.
So I was wondering if Hero was going to actually try and really hit a timing almost with this. Charge is almost done, but same for Deer. But Deer is also finishing +1. I think if Hero's going to try and hit a timing, it was going to be before +1 was done. Not the case. Now he just has an army supply lead, which might be enough.
Ooh, those charge lots are good, though. Getting a lot of connections, not just on the Stalkers, but of course on that Immortal, which matters most.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Deer has +1 weapons, but it means nothing if you can't deal with the Zealots. And while the force fields are about to wear out, now the Zealots get on top of this. He can warp in another round of them. His own Zealots charging in for the ramp, but that's okay, because right now he's got better numbers. Hero doubling the army supply of Deer, and this doesn't look good for Deer. It's the final fight of the final game, and he's up twice the supply.
Yeah, I think Deer is a goner. Those Immortals did not stick around near long enough. They didn't even focus fire the Stalkers for much of their fight. Deer is pretty desperate, pulling the probes here. He had, I guess, a few to lose where it's really game over, but he's still not winning the war.
Oh, dear.
Oh, dear.
It's a reluctant loss, but there it is. GG. Hero takes the series, and he'll move on to the semifinals. Now, we've got two... Oh, right, I forgot about the stupid anime thing. We got 2 best-of-3s remaining through the semifinals, and the question is, which one do we do first? It's either going to be the TVT or the PvP. It's be up to Olimoleague to decide. I'm also going to now replace the anime meme with the home improvement meme.
Roger.
Because I can only take... I am a weeb, guys, but I can only take so much of it.
You know.
And I know you said Roger, but I think you meant Wilson.
Wilson. Doesn't have the same ring to it.
All right. In the meantime, I guess we'll just hop to a quick break again, and we'll see you guys as soon as we can for the next game, which, like I said, it's one of the 2 semifinals. ! Brackets in chat